Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling. I shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today. We'll be relaxing as per usual, having a nice time. Anyone see the Pokemon TCG Pocket? The next set has been teased, shall we say. It's got like, was it the Sun and Moon, I believe. That's the majority of it, and I'm very excited for it. Despite the fact I haven't actually beaten Sun and Moon, I actually quite liked it. I like the legendaries, I think, in our region a lot for some reason. Good evening, everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 10:53 PM on Thursday, April 24th, 2025. Maybe, well, actually, I think maybe, if anything, I kind of liked the concept of, whatchamacallit? The game quite a lot, isn't there? Like you go around the island collecting things. Again, I haven't beaten it, so perhaps it's a bit misleading to say. I actually completely forgot about this as my Animal Crossing Village outfit. It really does not match up at all to the outfit in the actual thumbnail, which is I'm very curious why I did this, but whatever. Again, we'll fix it once the thumbnail actually gets revealed. But anyway, yeah, what should we talk about today? I'm not really sure. I'm playing a bit more Wuthering Waves, I'm playing a bit more of the other games, slowly trying to make my way through the things which I hadn't had much time to do at the moment. I'm looking forward to a new TCG pack. Haven't done my Neopets daily, so I guess we'll just do that now. Oh yeah, apparently Neopets had some crazy thing happen. Don't know what that company's doing. Apparently they laid off like most of their staff or something. I don't know what happened, to be perfectly honest. That's crazy. I guess there's a sort of cruel irony that I'm still here playing it. I guess I'm kind of playing it until I get bored of it, in which case I'll just leave it for probably like another decade again. In fact, I'm not even sure why I do every single daily mission. I just had like a moment of self-reflection right here, right now. Like, I like doing my daily tasks, I think, for games, but usually I do it for games where I actually like the rest of the core gameplay as well. I can't say I find Neopets' rest of the core gameplay very exciting apart from the decoration aspect and the accruing of money. You know what, I've had a moment of self-actualization right now. I mean, to be fair, I only do it while I'm also playing Animal Crossing, which I think there's a weird irony in that, where I'm playing Animal Crossing, but I'm actually playing a different game most of the time. It's perhaps a little bit strange, and you better believe that if I could be doing the dailies on my other games at the same time, but maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't, I don't know. Not to say that Animal Crossing is bad or anything, it's just more so that Animal Crossing, for me nowadays, is my soapbox or conversation. Anyway, I was considering streaming today, but and I got home like way too late, so I was like, okay, I guess I won't stream. Maybe, I think very plausibly actually, I could probably stream tomorrow instead, but we'll see how it goes, We'll see what we got, and we'll see what, I see what availabilities I have is such a formal way to say it. But yeah, I was going to play today, and if I had time, I would be like, I'll play Blueprints, and then I will do double drawing session. But then, of course, as I said, I got home pretty late, so I was like, okay, I will save that for another time. Apparently there's a new Monster High game, MonsterCon. I didn't realise quite how many there were. Anyway, what's Monster Prom for? MonsterCon. Fair enough. Pretty fun game. A game which I actually need to get around to playing at some point. But yes, what can we talk about? I'm not sure. Off the top of my head, this is where we go to the games. This is where I try and think of a random conversation topic. Easter time, I don't know. What's going on Reddit? This is what I do. Like, let's see, Ask UK. Anybody you go to school do something big like land animal media? Probably. I'm not going to disclose that though. What is it? UK is to set the longest direct flight in the world in 2027. Really? London and Sydney? Whoa. 22-hour flight. It's literally a whole day's worth of travel. Actual insanity. I've never done that flight before. The longest flight I've done direct was from London to Tokyo, I think. No, to Osaka, technically. I can't remember how long it was. I think it was 16 hours. That might not be right off the top of my head, but it was surprisingly long. What I think of it? I thought it was fine, to be honest. Would I take a 22-hour flight if I wanted to go to Sydney and it was like no better or no worse when I think taking an interchange flight or a layover. Yeah, absolutely. I see no reason not to, you know. It's sort of like getting it all out in one go rather than sort of interspersed. I guess the only difference would be like if there was something I really needed to do like partway through the flight or something for some reason. I don't know. I don't really have a good example, mind you. But I mean, I guess that would be a good reason not to do 22-hour flight. 22 hours is quite the marathon of a flight though. Like my methodology for flights or any sort of long transport is I just sleep on the transport. I do the very rare thing, the unusual thing I think, where I actually stay up later the night before transport and probably wake up a bit earlier of the day of actually travelling somewhere, just so because I'm like, I will catch up with a sleep there on the transport, so there's no reason for me not to, you know, take the extra hours now. It sounds so insane when I say it out loud now. Like my life is not this transactional, but apparently I live it in a very transactional way is what I'm reflecting right now. But yes, a 22-hour flight would be pretty brutal. Like, even what do I think is like the maximum amount of time I could possibly sleep for? Like, if I was insanely tired, even then, if I was like, I think I could probably go for like 10 hours continuous sleep, plausibly. I don't think that happens very often, mind you. Like, I'm trying to think, like, the times that we played like Rabbit and Steel or something, I stayed up at 4 a.m. Even then, like, I've still probably woken up at like 10, which is not unusual. But like, I think the latest I've probably woken up might be like 11 or so around then. Like, I feel like I was, this sounds crazy to say, I feel like I was better at sleeping when I was a teenager or something. I feel like it was much more common for me to go to sleep at like midnight. I mean, I'd wake up at like 10 or something. Okay, I think I could do about 10 hours continuous sleeping. So what I guess I gotta do somehow is basically like pull an all-nighter, sleep, just boom, at the start of the flight for 10 hours or something, wake up. When I got 2 hours to actually kill time, and then I gotta, boom, 10 hours sleep again. Wake up feeling super, super refreshed. it's not at all how it works. I'll probably wake up feeling even more tired. I think what I'd actually do is I'd try and sleep for as long as I can. I think on a flight is obviously not as restful as on a bed. It's quite difficult. I think it's plausible though I could get like 2 6-hour sleeps in or something. That still leaves 10 hours though. So I guess it'd be like 3 hours of doing something, 6 hours sleep, 3 hours doing something, 6 hours sleep, 3 hours of doing something. Yeah, I think I could survive that, to be honest. I think the thing that would allow me to survive is if I brought a laptop. Could I, as I say, raw dog a 22-hour flight? And the answer is, I don't know if I can. Maybe I could. I see no reason to, is the thing. Like, we actually talked about this before. I talked about it with a few of my friends. I can't remember what the context was. I think we were, maybe it was when we were coming back on holiday from France. I'm not sure. The sort of concept of just like raw dogging is like crazy a slang to use, by the way, like thinking about the origins of it, but it's become like almost like parlance now. But essentially it's where you just don't do anything. Like, you have no music, no entertainment, no distractions whatsoever. You just sit there and stare forward. Essentially, and that's all you do for the leg of a transport. You can't fall asleep either. In my opinion, very silly thing to do if you have a choice not to do that. You don't really prove much by doing it, I suppose. But could I do it? Like, for a very long flight? I don't think I could do it for 22 hours continuously. Like, we did an example, like, when we come back from France, because we took the train, we took the Eurostar. Because my friend was like, he doesn't think he could do it, or whatever. And my other friend was like, he thinks he could. And then that friend was also like, I don't think he could. But they were like, oh, dear darling, probably could. And I was like, yeah, I probably could. And we did it for like 15 minutes. I would say it was, you know, otherwise uneventful. I even remember what I thought about. I thought about like imagining what illustrations I would do, like if I wanted to do illustrations for like prominent NPCs and player characters in the D&D campaigns. I remember that's exactly what I thought about, and I thought about like what motifs would appear and what designs, etc, how I would want them to pose and that sort of thing. I basically thought about that for 15 minutes. But the real answer is, like, I don't really get why you would want to do it. I mean, obviously you want to prove something, I guess, but it's just like, there's no point. Just like put some headphones on, listen to some tunes, read a book, I don't know, play a game, go on your phone, who knows. There's just really no point to doing absolutely nothing on a transport for ages, unless you're sleeping. That's a rare exception. But even then, on long transport, I sleep with, like, music on. Because sometimes you sort of, like, vaguely wake up. Like, even though I can sleep almost anywhere, I will 100% admit that it's much easier to sleep on a bed than it is to sleep sitting down in a chair. And the main reason, you might think it's because the chair's more uncomfortable. That's not true, unless the chair's really uncomfortable. I think plane seats are normally quite fine for me. I think the biggest problem is the fact that you're vertically upright. When you're lying down horizontally, you don't move. Well, I don't move when you're sleeping. But the thing is, when you're sitting on a chair, like, you being consciously awake, you and your core, I suppose, keeping yourself upright. But as soon as you start going to sleep, you have to, like, slump in one direction or another. So if you're not already slumping in one direction or another, you're going to, like, wake yourself up. Yeah, have you ever done that thing where you've been really tired and you sort of, like, start to fall asleep while you're sleeping, and then you feel yourself falling, and then you jolt yourself awake? It's kind of like that. So the alternatives, you had to, like, find, if you can recline, even better, or if you, like, sleep against a wall or something, which I do all the time on trains, if possible. That's what you can do. But, yeah, sleeping just sitting down is quite difficult. And not because of the uncomfort, but because, again, you can't find a position where you can't move. And I will say, also not great, like, for your neck and stuff. Because the not the comfortable positions, the positions for me, which are the best for sleeping while sitting down, is I need to, like, have a way for my neck to relax against something one way or another, which will often be, like, leaning against the wall and putting, like, a pillow there or something. But it's not great for your neck and back, mind you. You might be like, you should get one of those travel pillows and sleep on that. I used to have a travel pillow, and I did used to try using it. I didn't like it. I don't know. Like, somehow it felt worse for some reason. I can't put my finger on why. Maybe I just bought a bad one, and I've not tried it properly since. But yeah, I don't know. Travel pillows just, I don't know. I need to, like, lean against something. I think I don't know. Well, actually, that's not true. I don't need to. But that's what feels the most comfortable, rather than just sort of having my neck, like, to the side. Not that I haven't slept like that, but still. But yeah, but just completely just doing nothing for an entire flight is, well, certainly. I think the discussion that I had with my friends is, certainly I can get very easily lost in my own thoughts and daydream, which is why I can do it, because I don't know what else you're meant to do, I suppose, if you're just not engaging with everything. And my friend, he was just like, oh yeah, you know, like, that's kind of why I need music, because, you know, otherwise I'm just, like, not thinking about anything. And I'm like, that makes sense. That probably explains a lot, to be honest, about why you don't think you could do it. And he did say after we did the 15 minutes of, like, no engagement, he was like, it was absolute torture. And I was like, I thought it was just completely fine, to be honest. It's very interesting, that sort of thing. Intriguing, one might say. Or not, I suppose. Kind of, your mileage may vary. But yeah, I don't know really what the lesson to be learned from all of this is. I don't think there is a lesson to be learned. It's just more like, don't bother doing something like that, you know? Just like, it's okay to, like, engage with media, I suppose, while you're traveling. It's a long journey. 22 hours is insanity. I would still do it. How many meals would you get on that flight, then? I guess you would actually get, like, free, because your sense of time is all very warped inside a plane, because you don't see the outside a lot of the time. Who knows what's going on day, night, and especially because you're traveling towards or away from the sun, like, the days either stretch out or they don't, like, line up properly, and it's all very confusing. I did remember seeing in that post, though, like, as I saw very quickly, it was like they're calling it a double sunrise flight or something, because you'll get to see 2 sunrises. I think that's a very cute, romantic way to sort of market it. Props to whichever person in the marketing team came up with that. Very smart. But yeah, I mean, it's like 22 like, you spend so much time traveling anyway when you have a layover. You do, like, for example, like a 10-hour flight, and then you had to do, like, a layover where you're in the airport for, like, 4 hours or something, and then you do, like, another well, a 12-hour flight, I suppose, if we want to make the numbers add up. And in fact, it's normally longer as well, because you had to take like a detour. You can't fly as a crow flies. Actually, I'm not sure how often planes actually fly as a crow flies in the first place, but still, like, it's not conducive to efficiency in my mind. You might as well do it all at once rather than spacing everything out so awkwardly. I guess that's kind of what I mean. But like, it sounds pretty appealing. I will say, what about the question if like you're flying to New Zealand, which presumably doesn't, or UK to New Zealand, which presumably doesn't have this 22 or 24 hour probably flight, flying from here to like Wellington or something. Well then, I guess, would you rather do the flight to Australia and then a flight from Australia to New Zealand, or would you rather do like a flight to like, I don't know where you usually stop off for those sort of flights, maybe like Shanghai or something, or maybe like Delhi, I don't know, is there somewhere on the way? Or would you rather split it half and half? At that point, I think maybe I'll do half and half, because that way at least you get a sort of like a, if you have to stop in the middle, you might as well have 2 equal sections. And if anything, I feel like the 2-hour flight is going to be more tiring than the 20-hour flight, because it's like you've already made it most of the way there, now you just got to do all this path just for like a tiny other thing as well. You know, it's crazy. Right, dear darling, YouTube thumbnails. I don't know what I'm going to call this video. I'm definitely not going to call it raw dogging. That's like, even though that's what the slang is called, I think I'd be insane if I put that on an Animal Crossing title. I would just call it, I don't know, I need like a synonym. Just like no entertainment. Just you and your thoughts. Something like that. Just your thoughts. What could I put for a little doodle? Great question. Don't have a good answer. I guess I'll just put like a tiny airplane. Whee, amazing. It kind of looks more like a fish. That does not look like an airplane. Oh well, we're rolling with it. Yeah. I don't know what the longest I could do something without like doing any entertainment whatsoever is. I guess I could probably do it continuously for maybe about as long as I can sleep. 6 to 8 hours or so. I think, see, the thing is, like, if I could, like, the concept of doing the thing, like, where you're trapped in a room with, like, nothing, except for, like, the bare necessities or whatever, I feel like I could do that for significantly longer. Like, orders of magnitude longer, but I'd be able to just sit there and do nothing for ages. Mainly because doing nothing is actually very difficult. Doing very little is quite easy. Well, for me personally, doing little is quite easy. I'm not going to speak on everyone's behalf. Doing literally nothing, now that's quite difficult. It's because technically you're not like allowed to move either, which is, I think that's just a bit over the top. And I think I remember actually, the hardest part for me was not falling asleep while doing it. Because I'm like, why wouldn't you just fall asleep at that point? For me personally, of course, this doesn't apply to everyone. Maybe someone out there just, that's the way they want to do it, and in which case, fair enough. But for me, no, I'd rather sleep on my long transport. Anyway, for now, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons, and I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.